When you look at our film which follows this, you'll just see how much Olney has changed, and these are yesteryear pictures of the pancake racing that takes place there once a year. You will see from time to time that Olney is very well known for its lace making. In fact, like the village of Turvey that I visited, Olney, nearly everybody there yesteryear worked in some form of lace making. Well, I hope you enjoyed the old pictures of Olney there, and now we're bang up to date. And here we have Benjamin and David and me. We've just got out of the car and we're going to have a walk down the very long high street. Well, as you can see, there's still quite a few very pretty flowers about. This, as you probably saw, is the end of August. I don't know how many more of these town walks I'll be doing this year, but Olney is one of the best kept villages in the nation, apparently. This is the old school building. Note in a moment the old bell that used to ring the children, tell them it's time to be into school. Olney is a thriving and bustling market town lying on the A509 trunk road from Milton Keynes to Wellingborough. It has a wealth of attractions for tourists, including antique shops, places of historical interest, accommodation, 4 public houses, restaurants and cafes, and ample free parking. And the market day is on Thursday. Since the early 70s, the population of Olney has increased significantly from around 2,400 in 1971 to 6,000 in 1975. That is, I think, because it's so convenient for Milton Keynes and the M1 motorway. However, Olney is still the centre. It's old 18th century market town character. There's historic associations with the poet William Cowper, who lived in Olney between 1768 and 1786, and John Newton, who became its curate in 1764. Together they wrote the Olney hymns, which is known as Amazing Grace, and they are commemorated in the Cowper Museum in the marketplace. I thought this was rather amusing, and there's quite a few interesting buildings. Some you've already seen. What we're actually doing is walking down this long high street past the marketplace and to the river overbridges, and then we're going down by the church and along by the river, across the meadows, and it's a complete contrast out in the open space and in between all the buildings. As I mentioned lace making before, for 300 years Olney was at the heart of the bobbin lace making industry in the area. The lace was made using fine thread wound on wooden or bone bobbins. In the 1700s it was at its most expensive, with royalty and the well-to-do wearing only lace. Unfortunately, Nottingham machine-made lace grew in popularity, and its lower price finally saw the end of the lace-making tradition in Olney. Attempts were made to revive the trade as late as 1928, when the lace factory was built in the High Street. Handmade lace is still produced locally, mainly for pleasure though, but there is a museum there that contains an extensive collection. I'll tell you what, Olney, the main street through, is so busy, and the noise is horrendous from all the traffic, and it was lovely later on to get out across the meadows. And I did mention to 1 or 2 people that we met that maybe this particular town could well do with a bypass, but they said no, they don't really want a bypass, because if the traffic doesn't go through Olney, then the town will become dead. So there you go. The main attraction of the town now is its host of antique shops. There's quite a lot of villages and towns now who have this lovely idea of having the name of the town surrounded by flowers as you enter along the footpath or arrive in your car. We're in Church Street now, and that is an old barn, typical old 17th, 18th century barn, and there's two horses take shelter in there, or a horse and a pony anyway. And we found that there is a wedding going on at the church. Unfortunately, we did not see the bride or the groom, just a few of the guests. So we carried on along Church Street to the old mill. And there's a lovely lyche gate here as well. That's opposite the church, goes into the cemetery. And I came across this, derelict site. The old barns there, old farm buildings about to fall down. And then I spied a notice applying for planning permission to build one house on this site. Well, I saw the name, the Dovecote, but I couldn't see a dovecote, so we walked down this bridle way. That's the big old mill building. As I've said many times before, you must look up. Bye-bye, Benjamin. Before we go in close, can you guess what kind of bird they are? I bet you can. They're everywhere in this country where there's water. Yes, it's the Canadian geese. Noisy little buggers, aren't they? And here we are, we've got a fair way across the meadows now. There's just the sound of rushing water. Looking back at the church there, and we went even further across the meadows and found an old bridge which we went across, and unfortunately, although we tried, there's an old stony path, but it was just not manageable with a pushchair. So what actually happened here was that I continued along the path and went up on the hill to get some views looking back over Olney, and joined David about 5 to 10 minutes later. Well, there was no shortage of fresh fruit. Damsons there, I think wild damsons and blackberries. And this is what we attempted to wheel the pushchair over. Not a good idea. So I'm coming back down this bumpy path now over a couple of little streams, and there's a nice swan way down upon the Swanee River. Where else would a swan be? And I'm going to join David and Benjamin. Benjamin is having lunch.
Yum, 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 yum. There we go then.
And I've got to say, it's surprising what happens when you're out and about with a camera, your big son and your grandson.
Oh, missed it. Missed it. No
tell him what happens when you're out for a walk, does it? Eh?
Different meetings and meals on
Oh,
wheels, isn't it?
What's its name?
Digby.
Digby. Ready? Come on, Digby. You're on film. There you go. Run for it.
So we've got garden vegetables with chicken.
Sorry, we're pulling you off now.
No, you're not. This is all. Well, this is Benjamin being carried, Dad filming and pushing the pushchair. We're looking for somewhere to we're looking for somewhere to get Benjamin's bottle heated up because he does not like cold milk. And when we got back to the church, there was this lovely old motor waiting for the bride and groom. Well, we weren't sure whether we were going to find anywhere to get a drink, but we did, and we had a lovely BLT lunch. That building, incidentally, is the Cowper Museum. And I must say, it looks a bit stormy, and we was actually eating outside and worried that it was going to rain on us, but it didn't. Peace at last. Got to go on a bumpy ride now again to shift the wind. There you go. Dig into it, mate. That's a good boy. Well, we really enjoyed our lunch and had a nice cup of tea. Benjamin had his milk, did a nice burp, and we're back out now wandering up the high street towards the car. But we found a shop that we went into, and when we get home you'll see what we bought. round Olney, haven't we, David?
Certainly have.
And as you see, been across the park, across the meadows, to the river. Been and had a nice BLT, and also bought a little gift as well. So really, really nice time out with my two favourite boys. As we leave Olney, just to mention, in front of you, before this roundabout was installed, there used to be an overbridge, which was a railway, and that is the site of the railway that ran from Bedford to Northampton. Long, long since gone, but there are signs of the railway track bed if you care to walk out and find them. Some nice GGs coming down the road. Sorry, horses, Natasha, not GGs. There, weren't they nice? Never know what you're going to see. This is a little village called Poddington, thatched houses that side and over that side, and there's a nice garden centre here, but we've already gone past that, and there is the church. This is Wilmington, and that's the new inn, and there's a few new houses there. Lovely flowers on the wall. We're Wilmington, we're approaching Rowston now. We've come the back way because the railway bridge from Irchester to Rowston is closed, and all the traffic's being diverted. That's the reason that we've come back this way. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick little visit through these villages. All very quick shots. I don't even know what they've come out like, but still. Well, here we are back home. Benjamin's totally clapped out after the walk round Olney. He's had his milk and he's had a bit of his dinner, and I'm just going to have a cup of tea with my big son David. There he is. And if you wanted to know what we bought in that shop, there you go. That's what we bought in the shop. These are made of resin. Rather lovely, don't you think? So maybe I'll leave my car out the front of David's and go home in one of these.